So, Aaron,
Yeah.
what year are you at Bosco?
Right now I'm a freshman. It just came in, but I joined esports like late 7th grade.
Late seventh grade. And did
Yeah.
you start off in League of Legends originally?
Yeah, but what I originally tried out for was Fortnite and Overwatch.
So you and Luis were in the same boat. You guys both wanted to do Fortnite at first.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other before before starting esports, or is that how you guys?
Yeah, we went to the same school. We practically like grew up with each other.
I got the feeling when I would go into the room, I'd see you guys messing around. I'm like, oh, those guys look like they're homies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, since elementary school basically.
Nice, cool. So Fortnite and Overwatch. How come you weren't on those squads at the time?
Uh
I'm guessing
I-
we didn't have Overwatch
yeah.
back then. Yeah.
They didn't have Overwatch and Fortnite. But then Paul, he's not here anymore. Like he doesn't coach no more. But he asked me if I wanted to try out for League, and then we got invited one time to come practice, and yeah, that's how I joined League.
How do you like League so far? Now that you've been playing for a few years.
I think it's a good game. I think at first it could be a little boring. You know, like, the games in League can go from like 30 to 40 minutes depending on like how your team plays and how that goes. But I remember when Paul invited me, the practice time was 3 hours long. So to myself, I was like, I was not playing this game for 3 hours because I've never played it before.
Yeah.
But then as I started playing it, I guess it got addicting. So yeah,
Oh, that's good. So you found a joy for it after
Yeah.
a while. And I believe Luis told me that he plays top lane. What role do you play?
For the team, I play bot lane, also or ADC, because in bot lane there's two different people. There's a support and an ADC, and I play ADC.
What does ADC stand for?
Attack damage carry. Their role is just to basically like do most of the damage in the team.
So there's 5 players on a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have 2 going bot lane.
Yeah.
Correct. And you have 1 going top.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the other 2 are going mid.
No. One, you're right for the first half, but one goes mid, and there's another role called jungle.
So he was telling me about jungle, and that
Yeah.
assists with the top.
Kind of. So jungle, there's a red side and a blue side. Whatever the map is split in half, and the jungler basically just goes around the map helping people. And for laners, bot lane, that's like bot lane, mid lane, etc. Their form of XP is minions, but for junglers, it's jungle monsters, and that's how they level up. And
Oh, I see. So the laners are taking out the minions that you'll actually see out on the field regularly, and then the monsters are the ones that are hidden throughout
yeah,
the
they're
different
like
parts of the map.
they're just in the jungle. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So how does your role as ADC differ from the other player who's in bot lane?
So for the difference between ADC and support, ADC is the only person that, not the only person, but it's like the person that will only farm the minions. Support, they have this item, and that item basically grants them procs. What that does is that they can hit a minion, and at a certain HP, it'll execute and give both of them gold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Man, there's a lot of details that you have to remember in game.
And I would say the only downside to an ADC and a support bot lane is that they have to split the XPs. So they're not equally as leveled as any other laner.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I know we jumped kind of straight into the mechanics of the game, but I wanted to also ask you a little bit about your time now as a freshman at Bosco. How have you liked being here for your first year?
I think so far it's been great. A little rocky at the start. I don't know how the whole schedule worked. I've never like experienced a waterfall schedule. It's a little weird here, but as I got used to it, you know, I just like have the schedule in my head now all the time. I know where to go. I know how it works, and it's pretty simple now.
Most of the guys I've talked to so far have expressed the same thing, that starting out was really rocky for them, whether it be schedule related or just making friends and you know, how was that experience for you? I totally get the. Well, actually, what is a waterfall schedule? I haven't heard that.
So a waterfall schedule, like, let's say it's periods 1 through 4. So normally, like, tomorrow it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But since 1 is always stuck at first, no matter what. It's the first class you're gonna have. So then 2, 3, 4, they like shuffle. So since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the next time we have those same periods, 2 goes on the bottom, and now it's 3, 4, 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of weird.
But I'm sure after a few weeks you get used to it.
Yeah, I got used to it. Yeah.
Any sports outside of esports?
I actually used to play a lot of sports. So back in middle school, I played soccer, not volleyball, sorry. Soccer, baseball, and basketball.
Dang it! I played volleyball.
Nah, I played volleyball outside a little.
Like in a club team or a league?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember which club you played for?
I don't know. It was like when I was little.
Oh, is it like USYVL where you go out? It's in the park. And there's a bunch of kids that train out there. Okay, yeah, I did that. I think I did that my 8th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Which of the sports that you've done, which one is your favorite? Would you say?
I would say that my favorite. I played basketball for a pretty lengthy time. I liked it, but I would say that's like the sport I had the most fun in. I also did find a lot of like joy in soccer. I think it was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What position did you play in each of those?
I think. Bro, I don't even know.
Maybe there weren't positions back then. You're just kind of like running around the court.
Yeah, I was just like assigned because up until recently, like we would just play man.
Mm-hmm.
So what that just meant is like everyone has their own man. You just guard him.
Okay.
And then you shoot, whatever. Yeah.
There's an opportunity, you just take it.
Yeah, for soccer, I played it when I was really young. So as you can know, like everyone just ran around the field.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but for volleyball, when I played setter. That's like the only one I have.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to be a really smart player to play setter.
Yeah, I wasn't like the greatest, but I think I was pretty good.
It's good experience, I think. Now, I'm curious because you do have a sports background. Have you found that training in those areas has helped you at all with your communication in esports?
I would say yes, it did help. But I think another major thing that helped me is just my background for video games in general. Because when I was like littler, I played a lot of Fortnite tournaments. Because like they host those, you could, it's like
Was it the Cash Cups?
Yeah, like those.
Okay.
I would play a lot of those, and I think in those kind of tournaments, the later you are in the game, the more communication matters. Cause if you don't communicate, it's like everything just falls apart.
Really quickly too.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally have not played Fortnite at a high level, but you don't even have to. You just have to get into one battle royale game, and once you're in that final circle, like you can see how crazy things get. And especially if you're doing cash cups, there's probably a good number of players that are still alive in that last circle. Yeah. So did you play that solos or did you play duos, squads?
I always played duos. I didn't really like squads. I would kind of avoid that, because I think it was just too many people, and I would only play with my friends, and to be honest, they weren't really the greatest players. So I only had like one friend who was like pretty decent, and then I would just play with my cousin.
That is kind of it can be a source of frustration, right? Because if you're someone who's interested in esports, that means you're already thinking of games at a different level than, well, a lot of people, because they play them casually. And if you start doing things like communicating, or you're very conscientious about, especially in Fortnite, what part of the map you're going to and strategizing, that's already a few steps ahead of some people. They're just kind of running around wherever and they pick up what they got and they don't really say anything.
Yeah.
Well, they do say something, they just complain when they die.
Yeah.
So that I could see how that would be frustrating. So has esports helped you find other people that are like-minded in the sense like they also want to improve, they want to get better at the game or win events and things like that?
I would say definitely, because I feel like there's some people who join esports just for fun. I mean, that's cool and all, but I would say if you join esports for fun, like not to be mean or anything, I feel like it's just throwing away your parents' money. I feel like you have to like have a future for it. Like you have to like see what you want to do in the future with the knowledge that you get from esports. And I know some of the players here, they like there's a senior here. He does take it seriously. You know, he watches videos to get better. He even streams, which is cool. I don't do that, but I would like to do it at one point.
I was going to ask if you're interested in streaming at all.
Yeah, I would like to do it at one point. I know for Bosco here, there's two different like I guess subscriptions. There's like the regular and there's an academy. Nothing special has happened at academy until this week. We were gonna go tour Vegas for the esports arena.
HyperX?
Yeah, the HyperX arena, and
it's an incredible facility.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I'm kind of excited.
You'll be very impressed when you see it.
Yeah. But in the beginning of academy, Asher, our coach, he basically help us set up a ton of like social media platforms. So for example, X, there's a TikTok and Instagram and then Twitch. I think and YouTube. Those are like the 5 main ones. So yeah, we set all those up and we set up on our accounts and everything, but we haven't set up on our accounts, but like we have everything to make an account. And yeah, that's what we have right now.
I think that's really great because no matter where you end up in esports or whether you play pro or you decide to go the content creation route, there are so many things, and I can speak from personal experience that when you're making stuff for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, there's so many skills you don't realize you develop over time. And that's coming up with good ideas, learning how to memorize dialogue. Like if you come up with a script for a video that you want to, let's say it's a talking head, like you could sit at your computer with your microphone and do it. Then you're basically learning presenting skills like someone in a newsroom has to learn. Like there's so many things, especially if you're doing this stuff on your own, marketing, media, and all these sorts of really valuable skills, especially nowadays. Going back to what you were saying earlier about taking esports seriously, it's actually something that we haven't really talked about in a prior interview, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit because I do think it's really important that we're trying to set a precedent here, right? That like any other sport, kids come in with the expectation that they're going to train really hard and that they're going to learn the same discipline, the same skills that I learned when I played volleyball when I was here at Bosco. And while that is the most important emphasis, I do think, interestingly enough, there are a lot of guys who join because they're looking for an outlet, like something fun to do. And, well, it's still something that I'm actually considering or trying to figure out, but I feel like there's almost a separate sphere you could have where you have players that come and they're more interested in the social aspect, which they need, and it is good for them. And then you have another pathway where players can pursue the competitive route and get involved in more competitions. That way those guys can be surrounded with like-minded individuals. But it's hard because we're still a growing program, and I think until we get more people that are interested in general, you can't really just, if we need 5 players for a squad and we have 6, it's like, all right, 6 guys not so serious, but he's got to be our sub for the next upcoming tournament and things like that. But I can see how that might be a source of frustration for you. Now, this might be a little bit further down the line, but have you thought about where you want to go to college or where you want to study or how the future of esports looks for you?
Right now, I'm not 100% sure like where I want to go to college because I still don't like know like what colleges have like that good esports program. To be honest, I don't know if I want to pursue esports or computer science because I'm taking the pathway to computer science for Bosco, but I also really want to pursue esports. But I think I think that's just I just have to leave it up to time and myself. Because unless I see more like better results in my play, then I would probably pursue esports. Because I know Coach Asher, he has a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet full of colleges that have like esports programs and like what games they accept and like what scholarships they offer. I think it's a really amazing spreadsheet. Not sure if he sent it to me yet, so I still need to ask him for that. I would appreciate that. And then what was the other question?
I think I asked like three of them. What you see your future as a college student, how you see that future, and if you see a future in esports, if you want to continue to pursue that, what that might look like.
Yeah. So for my future in esports, I would probably say like I would like to be more competitive and also an overall better player. I think going pro would be an amazing thing, but then again, that's just up to the time I put in, the hours I put in to get better at the game. So
I do think that's a very prudent approach where you won't really know until you spend more time with it and see what direction your classes take and what you're really interested in.
Yeah.
Because high school, like I've mentioned with some of our other guys, is you're figuring out a lot of the stuff that you really enjoy. And that's good. It's good that you see it that way because it means you'll be patient with the process as you figure it out. Now, I want to talk a little bit about streaming because you mentioned some interest in that. You've set up channels, X, YouTube, all that stuff. Have you ever made a YouTube video?
No, but I've like been in YouTube videos. So
Okay.
my friend, it was like back in like middle school, probably like 6th grade. They made this YouTube channel. So she posted like Fortnite and all that. And there was this one video, it was like role playing. Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Oh, so you're like acting out in Fortnite?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're just like voice-overing it in the voice chat.
That's pretty cool. You did basically your own play or your own, it's kind of like film and TV, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's neat. Back in the day, so now I'm aging myself with this, they were called machinimas. So have you ever heard of Red versus Blue?
Yeah.
Okay, so Halo, back in the day, people would get into a custom lobby and they would they would play as red and blue team and they would stand next to each other and have a conversation and basically what you're doing. So have you ever had any interest in film or acting or any of those things?
Acting, I wouldn't say like any particular like interest, but I do have like a little history with acting because I know for the middle school I went to, there was like a lot of plays as like the grades you got high, like in 8th grade, 8th graders for the middle school I went to, they had to do like, I think it was like 2 plays. So there was like the Station of the Cross one, and then I think there's one with like Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you had to go on stage and in costume and act out these scenes. Okay, very cool.
Like for the Station of the Cross one, I was one of the soldiers that would just stand by like Jesus, and that's pretty much it. I would like hit him and stuff.
You were soldier number 2.
Yeah.
We had a joke actually when I was here at Bosco because I did theater when I was here, and I remember one of the other guys was like, "Yeah, can I just be tree number 2?" You just stand in the background. No one had a role like that. Everyone had to do something like speaking lines, but that's really cool. You got to do that. So you haven't really made YouTube outside of when you did that in middle school. Have you gone live on Twitch or YouTube or streamed any games? Is that something that you want to do at some point?
I think I would like to do it. Going back, I also like there was another friend I had. He streamed on Twitch
Mm-hmm.
for like just like I would say like a good month. Um, but he ended up stop streaming because it would overheat his PS5.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so he had to stop that.
Yeah, I mean, it can be pretty intense if you don't have the right. The first PC I built, I couldn't stream on. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege, and I'd go into a single player, and I couldn't. It was not working. I couldn't
Yeah.
record anything or stream. So, well, yeah, I mean, when the opportunity arises, I think it's something that you'll find very enjoyable, really gratifying. I do want to wrap up here soon, but a couple last things I want to ask. Are there two things? First one is, what is the biggest takeaway you've gotten so far with your time at esports, whether it be something developed in-game, a friendship, personal development, being in the lab, working with other guys, working with Coach Asher? What would you say has been the biggest takeaway?
I would say making friends and building that relationship with your teammates. You know, so esports, like for Bosco, I think there's a lot of opportunities you have to just hang out with your teammates and like kind of like bond with them. So like, for example, like this Vegas trip that's upcoming, you know, I think it's a really good bonding trip for teammates, you know. And then same thing with the Sacramento tournament we had. There's a little bit of the competitive scene that we got to see. And then that time outside of the games, we had that time to bond with our teammates to form a better relationship. And then another example, every year if we save up the right amount, we get to go to a house and train for like a whole weekend just playing games, you know. And the same thing, when you're not playing, you just bond with your team. And we would have this like specific time, like at the end of the day, where we would just all hang out in the living room, and we would just all hang out, you know, get to know each other.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I think that is so important, not just in gaming, but I mean, I think it parallels in so many different ways. For example, like I worked in a production company for a while in film, and the biggest obstacle you run into is breakdown in communication. So someone calls someone else who's in charge of reaching out to someone else, and everyone has different jobs and different roles. And if you're not clear about what you're asking for, what your intention is, there's going to be an issue at some point. Production's going to get slowed down, and it's because someone didn't say anything or they didn't clarify in a good way. And that applies to if you're working in an office. It applies if you're on a sports team, all these things. So you're getting this really excellent crash course, really, in being a part of a well-oiled machine and making all of that stuff happen. So I think you're right on the money with that one. The second question, which is related, is since you're a freshman, what is one thing in the esports program that you think could be improved or that you would like to see? Like, oh, everything is great, but I just wish we had this, or I wish we could do that.
To be honest, I think the one thing that can make esports just better in general, I think just better equipment. Yeah. So I would say like our equipment's outdated, but I think it still works perfectly fine. But I'm not talking about the PCs in general, but the chairs. I think everyone has like a say for those chairs, you know.
Everyone has a saying.
Yeah. So like the chairs in, since there's like two rooms, the chairs that are like in the main room, those are fine. Like they're the razor chairs. I think they're fine. But the ones in the other room, they're like bricks. So like you could sit down for like a full league match, but you would have to get up right after, or else you're like your butt will start hurting.
It's like you've been sitting in the car too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have my opinions about gaming chairs in comparison to office chairs and things like that. So that's interesting. I do feel like of the equipment that we have, the PCs are fine, especially for League or Valorant. Like those games aren't super taxing on the
Yeah, they
system.
don't require a lot of like.
You could nitpick and say, especially for Valorant, you could say like we need to have the fastest refresh rate monitors, and that will give you a bit of an advantage, assuming that the computer is giving you enough frames for it. But that comfort factor is huge. We just released a video talking about that aspect specifically, like just having the best posture when you're playing first-person shooters, because it's, I don't know so much about League, but I know for shooters, like if you're not comfortable, you're going to be like tense and holding this same position for a long time, and it's going to affect your performance.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that one.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Well, Aaron, before I say that, do you have any closing thoughts you want to share? Any final words?
Not just that esports is great and that you should join.
Yeah, well, you heard him. Well, Aaron, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure chatting with you, and see you at practice.
See you.